Hi traders, this is Houston Trong from the tradingedge.org, and here is your weekly market outlook for July the 29th to August the 2nd, 2019. And I'm coming back to you from Montreal, Canada today. Took a couple weeks off to go down to sunny Fort Lauderdale, but now happy to be back in sunny Montreal. So this coming week should be a busy one, and so I'm glad to be back at the trading desk. So let's talk about the week coming up as well as the week that was. So first off, this is the final week of the month of July. So that's an important cycle to watch for as we're entering into a new month in August on Thursday. So watch out as we enter into the new month. Secondly, there is a number of macro news items we need to be watching for. And of course, there's lots of important earnings out there. First off, the big thing for your calendar this week should be Wednesday, where we have that FOMC meeting announcement. So the market is expecting a 25 basis cut from the Fed. If the Fed does not accommodate, and let's say does not accommodate that 25 basis rate cut, then expect some fireworks to the downside. Now, if the Fed meets the expectation or even exceeds it with a 50 basis rate cut, then watch out markets. We could have a melt up to the upside. On Thursday, there's also the ISM number, which will be interesting, and of course the employment number on Friday, which should also be interesting. Which those are on Thursday and Friday, which will kick off the new month. Now, for earnings, we're certainly in the midst of the heavy reporting period here, and so we want to be watching out for a lot of interesting names. So first off, on Monday, a very hot Momo stock right now is Beyond Meat, BYND, and that reports on Monday. It's at all-time highs here. Curious to see how it plays out as it goes into earnings. Apple on Tuesday, so we have Apple right before the Fed on Wednesday. So Apple, we'll review that chart later on, but it's been doing very well. It's been a name that I've been talking about having on your watch list. AMD on Tuesday as well. Wednesday we have over 430 companies reporting, so watch out for the calendar that day. And Thursday we have Square and Shop, interesting names to watch out for. And then Friday also a lot of companies reporting, so should be a pretty action-packed week of market movers. So let's get into the charts now, and let's go through the week that was, and let's look for some of the major levels we want to be watching for in our basket of instruments we typically review. So let's kick off things with our usual instrument. That's the VIX. So nothing has much changed with the VIX other than that it's going down, down, and down. The VIX probably for the rest of the month, unless something changes, is going to melt. Into those lows. So right now, the inside and down condition still holds true in the monthly chart. There it is. We've been looking at that all month. In the weekly chart, this is what we've been keeping our eyes on. Right? Can the sellers continue to remain in control? And I've been just saying it's a pretty easy trade. Just watch to see if the buyers can take out any of these weekly highs. And for the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks now, the sellers have created new lower lows and have not been able to create any higher highs. So the sellers in full control in the VIX. This thing is melting like a ice cube in the summer. So just continue to watch for this level here, right? Can you take out this previous pivot high? It's very funny this past week, the news was that some option trader or traders had been buying, out of the money call options on VIX, and that one day the VIX popped 3% here. That trader, or a group of traders, made a bunch of money, but the next day, it gave it all back again. So hopefully those traders took took those profits very quickly, because those profits are disappearing fast with the VIX, because you're trading full time from alignment to the downside with an inside month and down condition, with momentum to the downside on the weekly chart. So any pops to the upside, you want to be taking them off quickly, because they will melt on you. You can see this day here up 3%, the next day down 2.5%, right? So you lost most of your gains on that next day. Let's talk about the SPY. So SPY, on the other hand, hit all-time highs this week. So obviously being the sort of the inversely correlated instrument that the SPY and the VIX track. On the SPY, we've been watching for the last several months now, right? Outside, and up on the monthly chart. So outside and up, momentum to the upside. You want to keep seeing that now. Again, next month is right around the corner. You simply want to see, can in next month, we'll talk about this next Saturday once the month closes out. But on Thursday, you want to see where does it open up in relation to this bar, because this will be the the monthly bar of July. In August here, when Thursday hits, do we go outside bar up and up, inside or down, right? So you want to watch for that. Same thing as the VIX, but in the opposite, buyers in full control. See, outside bar up, momentum. So momentum here, no lower lows. Now last week I was saying, if the sellers can take control, they can begin by taking out last week's lows, right? It was close too, right? They were right there. They tapped that quarterly, monthly open, but that's all they could do. This week, the buyer stepped up and defended that quarterly, monthly open on the weekly chart. So now, same thing as the VIX, just watch for this low. The sellers cannot really take control until this low gets taken out. That's what you want to be watching out for. Again, you're going to have a new month. As I said it already, it's an important cycle to watch, opening up on Thursday. So this will converge, this will diverge a bit, because you're going to have your quarterly open remain there, but your monthly open now is going to be wherever it opens up here. The monthly is going to be over here, but you're going to have your open showing up somewhere around here, right? Wherever it decides to open up on the month. So that's what you want to be watching out for, is see if this full time frame alignment condition continues to the upside or not, because right now your full time frame alignment to the upside. The sellers here had a few chances to try to turn the quarter month red. They could not keep the SPY down, right? You can just see the strength there. They're just buying it. So right now, all-time highs. And if you really want to track things more carefully, here on the daily chart, it goes inside bar and up on Friday. Okay, so the sellers can begin to take control by taking out the low of this inside bar break to the upside. That means it would be a failed breakout. So anyone who here, I'll just draw as an example, right? So guys who typically buy breakouts, they look at something like that, right? Because that's a previous pivot high, and they're going to look for any kind of push to the upside. So here they may have bought that first pop above, it pulls back against them, it goes inside bar, then they go inside bar up. Okay, so if it goes inside bar up and back down, that's an inside bar reversal. So these guys who bought this breakout could be in trouble. So that's not saying to take a short. It could, because again, the bigger short is when this low gets taken on the weekly chart. But for now, you can track the shorter time frame stuff by simply watching to see if this inside bar gets reversed on. Qs, all-time highs. So hit all-time highs on Friday. On the monthly, there it is once again. Outside bar down and back up. We talked about this. Once this pivot got taken out, we're going after that, and now it's still momentum to the upside. On the weekly chart, same thing, right? Outside bar up, 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 up. Nothing but highs, no lower lows. Sellers can only begin to take control if we get a lower low. So that low needs to get taken out this coming week. So just watch for that, because it's really the buyers are still in control on the Qs. Now Apple has, as I said, Apple has earnings on Tuesday, and that could be a market mover. So let's see how the Qs respond to some of these tech earnings coming up this week. Let's talk about Russell in a slightly different pattern, but buyers finally stepped up. So here, last week we had a red week, right? We actually had 3 consecutive red weeks in a row. But what we have here now is that the buyers stepped back up in a big way. And we had the monthly and outside inside that had popped up, but had fallen back on the range, right? But now with 1 week remaining, well, not even quite 1 week left, but with 3 trading sessions left in the month, you have the Russell now trading back above last month's highs. And that's all because we got this outside bar on the weekly pattern. So here, we had lower low. So we had lower lows here. So that low got taken out. The sellers were in control, but this week here, they created a lower low. They lured some shorts in thinking it was going to break down like that, but the buyer stepped up right away, and now they created the outside bar. Question is, can they take out that quarterly, monthly open? Because, in the bigger picture here is that you're trading inside this condition, right? It's an outside, inside, and it had gone up, back in the range. So, on the monthly chart, it was not looking bearish, right? So even though you had these lower lows created on the weekly, you're sitting at best inside an inside bar, June's inside bar, right? So even when this thing was in here, it was still inside this month's range. So this is why you can't get overly bearish on this type of pattern. Now, if it does something like this, if it goes next month, right, it goes inside and up and then takes out last month's or this month's low, July's low, then it's possible it can come back down through here again. But right now, until you see something like that happen, it goes, let's say, outside week and down, that would trigger this to go back into the range. That's what you're looking for a bigger short. Right now, the short's not there. You need to wait and see for this pattern here to fail. Okay, so on the daily, inside bar and up, really touching the Bollinger Bands here now and hitting this, getting close to that quarterly open. So curious to see if the Russell buyers can continue to push it or not, or does it run out of steam, because you're getting you're hitting that quarterly monthly open. You only have a few days left. So let's talk about the Dow. And the Dow did not make new highs this week, but still quite strong. So outside bar and up, right? So there's your momentum condition. And until this low gets taken out, the buyers are in control on the monthly chart. Same thing here. You have an outside bar and up, and finally this week, okay, this week it took out last week's lows. But you can see you're still full time frame alignment to the upside, right? So the quarterly monthly open are down here. That means on the monthly chart, it's still bright green. That's not a selling condition yet. And on the quarterly chart, there's still a lot of quarter left, but it's still a nice green quarter. So, the bigger sell signal isn't quite there yet. Now, if the month runs out, right, and then this low gets taken out, the July low gets taken out, then that gets interesting because then you can push it back through the range here. But for now, there's no sell signal. That's going to be a macro sell signal. A lot of, you can get tiny short-term trades, but for bigger long-term holds, it's not showing you that yet. Okay, so for the Dow, something to watch out for. There you go. Inside bar on the daily, inside bar on the 2-day chart. Apple earnings again on Tuesday, so that could be a potential mover. Let's look at the TSX. The TSX, frankly, looks like it's close for business. I think it's on summer holidays. It's a green month so far, but look how tight that range is. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a really, really tight range for the month of July. So it's not much going on here. You had an inside weekend up condition on the TSX, but it came back in the range. So very easy now if maybe oil prices start to go back down and they start selling off oil again. If this low gets taken out, right, the low here, for it to come back and go inside by reversal and come back through this range, because it's not going to take much for the sellers to break the quarterly monthly open. Again, the buyers need to hold that level, otherwise you're going to get that inside by reversal and put this stuff at risk. Okay, so that's what you want to watch out for TSX. But it's very, very tight trading. Not a lot of stuff going on there. You can just see how tight it is there. You can see the Bollinger Bands on the daily chart. See, that's really tight stuff. So there isn't a lot of opportunity here. It's just very, very tight trading. Frankly, I think there's better trades that are happening elsewhere. You can just, once we talked about this last week, but understanding this can save you a lot of headache. Once you see this outside inside, every bar after that, even though it's outside of the inside bar's range, is inside of this outside bar's range. So for the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's 6 2-day bars, so 12 trading days, you've had consolidation inside of this larger outside bar, mother bar. So this is your consolidation here. It's not going very far right now, and frankly, it's not that there isn't that much opportunity. Now that a break a low below this past week's low here, that'll make it interesting because, like I said before, full time frame alignment possible to the short side when it cuts through that range. Take a look at something like EM, which does have this full time frame alignment to the downside alignment. So as I mentioned, I'm short EM, and this is a trade that I'm okay just kind of sitting on because it's sort of a hedge against my longer swing trades. So I'm short EM, but short EM and short bonds, but long a bunch of other equity names. So I'm comfortable with that sort of long short play. So EM, red month, right? So inside bar and up on the month, and next month, when this month ends, if they can break below July's lows, we get that inside bar reversal on the monthly chart. That'll be a bigger macro signal, and that would perhaps trigger this thing to go back down through the range here. So watching out for that. On the week, it's just very choppy stuff right now, very tight trading. So again, it's just a red week after the previous red week. But here we're watching. That's what I'm watching out for, both on the daily and the 2-day chart. Outside inside on the 2-day, right? So watching to see how the outside inside gets resolved, because that should kick some momentum into play if it can break below that range and that guy's range. TLT, as I mentioned, short that one as well. Right now, month outside bar. Okay, week, we have a red week, and they tried to go inside bar and up on the week, but they could not break above that quarterly monthly open. You can see it right there. There's that blue line. It nearly got up there. Sellers stepped in. They barely broke above last week's highs, and it came back into the range. That break below that low would be our inside buy reversal to the short side, and that's what I'm looking for, because I am short. Would like to see this thing break below that low and for this thing come back down through the range again. So waiting to see how that plays out. Okay, so again, full time frame alignment to the downside right now, as it is trading below that quarterly monthly open. Let's take a look at UKOIL today. Oil's up next. Oil, it's kind of tight right now. We have a red month, inside week, so very tight inside week trading. Not a lot of action there on oil, although you did have a lot of intra-week movements, as you can see here. 2 outside bars in a row followed by 2 tight consolidation days. So this thing is setting up for a big potential move, because look at the 2-day chart. You can see it. It's even more simplistic. Inside, outside, inside again. Now you want to see how that guy breaks, because now you have consolidation, all right, expansion, consolidation. Now watch for the expansion, because it's going to take it one way or the other. Here's a lesson that I think is always useful to look at. This is the trading that happens when you have time frame. When you don't have time frame alignment. So there's your quarterly monthly open in blue, kind of black, and then there's your purple line, which is your weekly open. You can see how it's playing pinball there. So that's what happens when you have these time frames that are conflicting. This is the kind of trading you get. So you can elect to either stay away or just stay on a lower time frame, so that you don't get into this stuff here, because that's just choppy, right? Like you're not timing your trades well if you're looking for longer term swings to get involved here, because it's stuck inside of this range. Let's talk about gold now. Gold taking a bit of a breather. So let's take a look at XAU. And gold this past week was an inside week, so we have a bright green month still. Green month, kind of a doji. We still have a few days left in the month. Inside week and up in the prior week, and it went inside week this week, right? So a bit of consolidation. So now you want to see, does this week's low get taken out? Because if it does, that's inside week and up. This breaks below here, then you have your inside buy reversal short to the downside. You do have your quarterly monthly open right there, so buyers may try to defend that and keep the quarter and month green. With only a few days left in that month, so watch to see how that plays out. But that's something you want to be watching out for, because like our other charts we talked about with oil, you got that outside inside here. Outside inside, outside inside on the 2-day and the daily. So something setting up here, and this really plays right into FOMC on Wednesday, right? So FOMC on Wednesday, that will definitely play into the volatility of gold, as this will determine whether or not people are thinking it's going to be we're going to have an inflationary environment or more of a deflationary environment. So Bitcoin though is not holding up as well as XAU. So today, let's go bigger time frame first. Monthly, it's red, but still inside month. As I said, the past few weeks, how do you get outside of June's range, right? Because it's over a 6,000 point range here. So even though it looks like a nasty sell right now, you're still inside of last month's range. So how do you get outside of last month's range, right? Right now, you only have a few days left, but you're still inside month. Weekly, inside week. So even though there's a bit of carnage in the crypto world, it's still an inside week, although you do have a couple of sessions left here where they could try to break it down before the week ends. Now on the daily chart, outside day for Saturday, and this is the as I said last week, I did take a long shot at it. It didn't work, and I got out quite quickly, because this is the understanding of trading inside bars. Here's the issue, right? So I went inside bar up. I thought the potential there was, if they can stay above the quarterly open, monthly open as well, then you have a chance for it to come back up and potentially take out that pivot high. As soon as it came back in, I got out way before it took out that low. I got out like in this range here, because I have no interest in doing an inside bar reversal. So I was on vacation this week, but had I not been on vacation, this is a potentially good short. Inside bar up, reversal right there, right? So once that low breaks down here, that's on a Monday, this low gets taken out. There's your inside bar reversal, and now the idea is it's going to take out that pivot low. Okay, and then they'll go after that pivot low. So they still have some room there for this thing to take out that low there. So let's see how the rest of the week ends for Bitcoin. Same issue for the overall crypto market. Let's take a look at the total instrument. Same sort of chart pattern. Inside month right now, big range in June. Here, outside and down and inside. So momentum to the downside, right? Until the buyers can take out a prior high. Okay, they're in control. So right now, overall crypto market, the sellers are in control. But you had the same sort of inside buy reversal pattern happening on the overall crypto market. There, inside buy and up there. This low gets taken out here on Monday, and then you have your, your selling going back through the range now. First going after that pivot there. So right now, sellers in control of total. That would have been a decent setup on a 2-day chart. You can definitely find lower time frame stuff. Now that you're trading full time frame alignment to the downside, the easier trades to the downside, right? The easier trades to the downside. So you can go on to a lower time frame and look for opportunities to the short side. Let's take a look at Apple, as we have earnings for Apple coming up on Tuesday. And this is, a chart that I've been saying, keep your eye on it, because right now you're outside and down on the month, and it's going back up again through the range. So once that June high got taken out, this high now is in play. So if Apple reports anywhere decent, iPhone sales or services numbers, or what stuff that they're looking at, it's gonna be very easy for this thing to retake 215.31, because that's definitely the area that's in play right now, 215.31. So that doesn't mean take the position before earnings, because that's a bit risky, but certainly be aware that if you had gotten in earlier, you might want to take a shot at it, or just play using options. That could be a decent trade there to 215.31 if things set up properly and you have a good risk to reward ratio on that trade. We talked about semis last week, and semis did this thing right out the get-go. On the weekly video last week, I said watch for semis. There's your inside month and up condition, and this week here was bang right from the get-go. They gapped it up on Monday. There's your Monday morning gap, and I think I had mentioned a bunch of semis names last week, because a bunch of them had earnings this week, so they were all setting up. There's Intel on Monday, right? We talked about that one. There's your outside bar on Monday, and it did pull back on Friday, but we did a bunch of. There were a lot of good semis names this past week. ON, right? So there's your Monday inside bar, then boom to the upside. I think we talked about Cuervo last week as well. Same sort of setup. Gaps up on Monday, keeps going, and I think he even said Xilinx. I think Xilinx was one of them as well. If not. They were all looking good until Friday. So there's your Monday, and they had a good three-day run there before they took some profit taking on Thursday, Friday. So what to look out for this coming week? I think again, it's going to be very fluid based upon the Fed announcement and obviously the earnings. But the name I'm still looking at is KRE, because the regional banks are still lining up here. So right now, if you look at the broader picture on the regional banks, KRE. Something is setting up here on KRE. So on the 3-month chart, quarterlies, inside. So we have 6 months of consolidation on regional banks. If this high gets taken out, okay, then you have some real potential for this thing to go up to all-time highs. On the monthly chart, it's already in play. So look, outside bar and down. This past month they took out June's highs. Now they're going back to at least this level here. So that level there to drop back in again. The 3-month high, last quarter's high is there, 56.74, will be right there, right? So if this guy continues to go upward, they take out that pivot high, that will trigger the 3-month chart to and crack that 6-month consolidation pattern. A name that I've talked about in the past that I said keep on your. Actually, before I move on to KRE, also just watch here. Right, momentum move now, inside and down and up. So sorry, inside, outside, and now up. So that's momentum to the upside. The buyers have control until this low gets taken out. BPOP, Banco Popular, is a name that's worth looking at. I said a while back, there's lots of time to get long this guy, and it's doing its thing now, because here's the pattern, outside and down. It broke above June's high now and come back towards May's highs. So I'm just going to quickly look at the quarterly chart. Outside, inside, and up, and inside so far still trying to make its way back to those highs. So Banco Popular looking strong. One name to watch out for, Square does have earnings on Thursday. Let's quickly take a look at that one. So Square, interesting pattern here, right? So inside bar and down this past week, a possible inside bar reversal. So here it breaks above this week's high. then you have that inside bar reversal, because anyone who went short here is going to have to cover once it breaks above these levels. Otherwise, they're going to get squeezed. But especially what you want to look for is this, the 3-month chart. Okay, as you can see here, outside, inside, inside, and finally now it's popped up, right? So this quarter it's above there, and you have a real chance for this thing to now come back and retake these all-time highs. So outside, inside, inside. That was again 6 whole months of consolidation. It's broken out of that now, and it's slowly making its way higher. So watch for these earnings on Thursday. It could be a catalyst again. But if it does, however, for whatever reason, if it doesn't work, you want to look out for these lows to get taken out. Okay, so these weekly lows for it to come back through the range again. One file name, just as a red flag, one name that is not working well right now, EA, really getting beaten up. So EA right now, outside month to the downside. You can see the momentum outside week and down, inside week. This is what you have earnings here on the 30th, so something you want to watch out for. So the 30th is Tuesday. But this is what the broader picture is here, is this. On the quarterly, 6 months consolidation now breaking to the downside. So that's not what you want to see. That's kind of the mirror opposite of what we saw with the KRE and Square. This thing's going inside quarter and down now, and if the bad news continues with earnings, then this thing becomes at risk. So there's possibility of this thing to come out and take out this range here. Okay, so I hope this week's market outlook was helpful to you. If you have any instruments or names you want me to add to the review process, certainly add them to the comment section. Please, if you like these videos, please subscribe to our videos. Give us a thumbs up so that we can grow the viewership base. At the same time, I'm actually going to be going on a little more vacation at the end of the week, going to Mexico for another week at the end of the week, but I'll try to stay on top of these videos next Saturday to deliver these on a timely fashion. It'll be really up to the internet of at the resort I'm staying at, as that will really control whether or not these get out to you in a timely way or not. All right, well, have yourself a great trading week. I hope your trading is going well in this summer trading season, and happy trading to you.